You hear that? The birds. Nature. Hi, welcome back, and if you're new here, I'm Kim. I know it's been a hot minute, so this is actually more of a catch-up video slash books I want to read for the season slash whatever I feel like talking about, since my mind is kind of going all over the place. But I haven't been posting, though I did film. I just haven't uploaded anything that I filmed. I did a couple, maybe like one video worth of wrap up. I'm not sure if I want to post that or just refilm it and do like what I've read in a long-term form video. We'll see. We'll see. It's kind of lazy and I don't want to refilm it, but honestly I should. Honestly I should. Yeah, just to catch up. Your girl got married. As I'm not wearing my ring right now, of course I'm not. I will come back and show you the ring. But your girl got married on October 2nd, so that was probably a big reason why I have just been busy, because I am full-time work, full-time school, almost essentially full-time school, and then on top of that planning a wedding, and then also having real life events happening at the same time, or events that are out of your control that are happening at the same time. So life be lifing, you know what I mean? The drawbacks of filming outside, you're going to be hearing all sorts of things in the background, so I apologize. It's definitely the sound of that thing going on. So we will push through. I'll just quickly wrap up what's been going on. But yeah, I think just learning how to navigate through everything that's going on mentally and physically. Like I couldn't even work out as much because I got so busy with school and work. And on top of that, you know, life events. Doesn't matter what stage you are in your life, the world will continue to rotate. You know, the future will still continue to come forward, and you just have to live it day by day. But that being said, I had like the biggest book slump I've ever had. Ever, I guess. This would be like my first, what I would consider my first book slump to have experienced, like damn near close to it. Maybe because of all the outside factors, but I've grown a lot as a reader in the last couple months. I've entered like a whole new phase, not even learned, but I learned something about myself entering a whole new phase of reading. Before, if I start a book, I'm going to finish it before I hop into another book, okay? Like I want to finish it before I start anything else. I know that sounds crazy to some people who are more experienced readers, and now I get it. I get why it sounds crazy, because I have now entered an era, which wasn't that fast, to be honest. I mean, it feels very fast that I entered this, but I am just hopping from book to book. And mainly because it's not that they're bad books I'm reading, it's mainly because they're so good or I'm having such a good time. It's just depending on the time and place, I just can't finish it. And so I don't want to do it injustice by forcing myself to read it when I'm no longer in the mood, which goes back to people saying like, oh, I'm a mood reader type. I've never heard of someone who didn't call themselves a mood reader, so that's why I don't like to say, oh, I'm a mood reader. This is essentially mood reading, right? Anyways, I digress. Yeah, a lot of good books. Okay, a lot of good books. Fledgling, which I started that like a month ago, but I'm finishing it up now since I now have time. I was reading Shades of Grey, not 50 Shades, Shades of Grey. What else was I reading? Oh my gosh. I feel like there were other books that I started and stopped. Paladin's Grace. Yeah. DNFing books, not because they were bad, literally just because I no longer was in the mood, even though I was having a great time and I had to pause for even like a couple hours. I realized that it was easy for me to be like, you know what, time to move on to the next book. I really can't give too much time in between a book, or else I'm just not gonna come back. What else? I haven't been buying as much books as I used to, which isn't a huge improvement, but mainly because wedding costs so much money that I just couldn't afford it, to be honest. But I did learn some self-control, and because of that self-control, I actually don't purchase as much. But again, to be honest, like right after, I ended up getting at least like 4 books to please my brain, to scratch that itch that I've been holding on for the last 2 months. So I was a very happy camper for getting a couple new books. I do want to post like a mini book haul here. More like, not exclusive, but like special editions or pretty books or books that I really want to highlight that I've gotten over the year. I didn't show them all, but because October was a huge month for book releases, I was actually going to wait till the end of the year to show like, oh, these are my pretty editions or special editions. I am a special edition collector. I like pretty books. I can't help it. No shame. All right, no shame. Safe place, safe space. in this channel for us okay horror collectors. But anyways, overall, I'm just happy to be back reading again. I'm happy to be back into the vibe of it, or making time in my schedule for it, now that I'm no longer wedding planning, now that I'm kind of found myself in a space where I was able to heal to a certain extent, you know, like honestly cope with a loss and just in everything. I did a huge clean with me and my husband. I can say that now, husband. I did a huge clean out for our room, repotted, watered, cleaned the frog tanks that needed to be done, organized my books, which I'll show you in a second once we're done with this portion. But yeah, organized my books, which made me like a lot of dopamine hit me. It was a pretty productive day yesterday, and now I'm back into the groove of wanting to film, wanting to talk to y'all again. As another plane goes by, whatever, we'll talk over the plane. We'll move indoors. We'll move indoors. Next time we do an outdoor portion, we'll see. We'll see. There's just too much noise. The life of a creator. Okay, sorry it's a little dark in this corner, and excuse the setup. I'm just working with the space I have, okay? But we pretty much got this table or stand mainly for the dedication table for my wedding. I'll post a picture of how I used it on the side. I wanted to also use it as a book stand now that we no longer need it for the table. I got this at Home Goods, I believe. And I want to show you mainly that I organized this based on the books for this, not just for the season, but in general. I very much enjoy spooky books. I mainly wanted to show it because I pulled out the books and organized it based on the season, like the fall season, as everyone was posting on YouTube what their fall books are, their spooky books recommendations are, because it is that time. I was thinking, okay, so what books do I personally own without having to buy or purchase any that fall into the category what I consider more of a fall time spooky type read? And it was pretty easy and hard at the same time, because naturally I read this genre outside of fall season regardless, and I don't think I have a lot of autumnal books to my understanding, if I remember the synopsis for any of them, if it takes place in fall. Based on my channel, if you have been watching the previous videos, even though I don't post a lot, I'm sorry, I don't post a lot, I know. The type of books that I mainly lean towards is very like weird horror, spooky, I wouldn't say too spooky, but like sci-fi, things you can't explain, just weird stuff like that I tend to lean towards. And on top of that, I also lean towards more dystopian type books, more political type books, more conflict type books. I don't know. To me, I have such a huge batch of that in my personal library that I almost pulled like a good chunk. But the books that I did pull to be on this specific bar stand. Why am I thinking of alcohol? To be specifically on this book stand, though I call it a book stand, are ones that I'm willing to read within the next year or so, including this year, but there's no way, considering how many books I've read in the first half of the 6 months versus how much I've read now. Yeah, there's probably no way. Maybe like 3 or 4 of these might be read by the end of the year. It's books I want to really like attack or tackle and start to read. I have way more than what you're going to see in terms of the genre and the type of books. Like Stephen King, for example, I only put one of his books here. The rest of them are in like the other area of books I have. Where the rest of the books are. Who knows? My mood can change. I mean, I could honestly redo this whole shelf and have it be more like sci-fi fantasy themed versus horror. But knowing myself, I don't know. I will probably stick to this genre for a while. But yeah, let's dive in. So here's the bookshelf. I'm not really going to go over the synopsis of each book. Just wanted to show you the books that I've obtained over the past couple months that are in my possession that I pulled out and I really want to read. So let me take off. I'll come back to you when I take off all the decorations. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about the little decorations, shall we? Okay, so this first decoration on the top shelf, actually no, let's go all the way back, because this is more horror, realistic, you know, like scary type books. I have here garlic, for reasons we all know. If there are vampires, I am reading a vampire book right now, Fledgling. So, you know, to ward evil. I have another charm from Japan for good luck. I forgot specifically what this one meant. Either I have a good fortune and good luck, or good health. Forgot. But, you know, in general, I have some good juju over here, considering the mess we're about to enter. So the first shelf, I have one of the crochet flowers. I'll link it above if you're interested. I got it on Etsy. It was an extra one that I received. She was nice enough for me to keep it because I didn't order this color, but she's very sweet. She's like, oh, you can just keep it, and sent me the correct color, so I love her for that. And then I gave this all to my bridesmaids as the different versions of this flower and different colors based on their personality, so I kept this one. And I literally created this last night. Blind boxes really got me, y'all. I don't know if it'll focus. It probably won't. Hold on. Let me actually get up in it. There's a little fishy in there. Anyways, I just made that from a blind box because blind box got me. And yes, this photo, or this picture frame, to be replaced with a photo of me and Joe soon. Then, as we move on to the bottom, as I move my mic, this is another crochet frog. I'm not sure if, I think I got this on Etsy or Instagram. I forgot. I'll link it down below if I remember. I bought a couple of these actually in different forms of the frogs, and so I keep that one hanging out on the side. And last but not least, I have a little crochet flower pot too. This is a dark corner, so plants won't really grow here as much. Yeah, I keep crochet and not alive things, even though I want to put alive things as bad as possible. All right, let's start. Okay, welcome to the dystopia section. Or dystopian like. I have the Book Sensory Club, the Dolirad, The Last Man, Handmaid's Tale, Brave New World, Shades of Grey, Flowers for Algernon. I just threw it up there because it fits up there. The Wall, Sea of Tranquility, Station 11, which I have watched the show, and The Long Walk. I bumped it up for my first Stephen King book to read because the movie is coming out this year. So I placed it up there too, which also takes place in a dystopian world. So dystopian books. Again, if you don't know me or this is your first video of me, I enjoy those type of books. I don't know why, maybe because it just shows that there's hope at the end of the tunnel in a dystopian world as we're leading into one ourselves, but some hope. Some of it has hope. I'm not sure. I can't wait to read these. I bumped these up. I think these are actually all my dystopian like type books that I know I own. I didn't really look at my Notion sheets because I haven't updated with my most recent books purchase. And this is it, y'all. Then moving down, we just have horror books in general. Ignore this side. This is just space to put my books. This book came out this year, so I wanted them all together. I have, this one's probably going to get bumped up. These two. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. That one is a must to read this year. And Carmilla is also one of the musts that I need to read, by Joseph Sheridan Lee Fanu, edited by Carmen Maria Machado. Sorry if I'm pronouncing their names wrong. I apologize, but you could read it. Another one that I'm actually hell looking forward to is this one. Oh, hold on. Oh, I also threw in Kappa. This is a Kappa-like creature or Japanese folklore. Oh, you cannot. It's not going to focus, and that's okay. That's okay. Which is very fitting considering I had the crochet frog on this side of the, or on this level of my bookshelf. So it's cute. It's cute. It's funny. But back to the one that I actually really want to read. There's actually two, which is going to be problematic because I want to read everything. I want to read everything. Our Share of the Night by Marina Enriquez. I have two other books by this author that I actually want to prioritize, but we'll see. They're much smaller also. I'm not sure if I want to do it based on publishing order of her works, but at the same time, that didn't stop me from reading other authors' work if it's not in order or not. I just want to read whatever I'm in the mood for. So this one I cannot stop looking at. I absolutely want to read this year. And the other one is, maybe it's a 50-50, but it's just because the synopsis is freaking crazy and disgusting and I want to know why. I just want to know what's going on. That's Mending Bodies. If you can assume from the title, yeah. Think of like, if you, around my era. What is it? The centipede? The human centipede? I wouldn't say it's exactly that if you read the synopsis, but something along the lines. Actually, let's read the first line. In a failing city, a government program insensitizes couples to conjoin surgically attach themselves to one another, promising a flourishing economy. And so on and so forth. But you know, you get it. Yeah. Holy crap. If that doesn't put you in like a creepy, weird, scary vibe, then I don't know what will. Actually, the second tier of this rack is pretty promising in terms of books I own. I'm actually extremely excited to read those. So let me put my babies back. Okay, so for the last row, we have the hardbacks and books that are bigger size that belong on the bottom because they'll just look weird on the other two shelves. So far in this batch, the only ones I want to kind of prioritize reading would be the Victorian Psycho by Virginia Fito or Fito. I'm not sure if I heard there was going to be a movie based on this novella. I'm not sure, but regardless, the cover of this book sold me when I saw it in stores. Yeah. And it's a small baby, so... or small size. Sorry, I don't want you guys to think that she's a baby. That is one I want to prioritize. And the other, I kind of wanted to do this for a video, so I pulled them out. But mainly because I got inspired by another YouTuber who did this. I will link her channel if I remember who it was specifically, because I think a couple YouTubers have, but the one I've seen it done before was Read My Owl Crate Editions or Illuminate editions. I only have Owl Crate and Broken Binding as my subscription boxes, but Owl Crate I have the horror ones because I want pretty horror books, and I don't know if they're good or not. I'll show you the two that I got from Owl Crate, and I think they're about to ship another one. I'm not sure. One of them is the Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. Let me see if I can like open it up with one hand. I'm all holding this in the other. Yeah, it's very pretty art. There's even little foots on the very bottom. Like, how cute is that? And the other one that they sent is The Library at Hellbore by Cassandra Cow. Oh, I'm sorry, girl, I can't pronounce your name. But another Owl Crate edition that's very pretty. But look at the inside, okay? It's the inside that's extremely disturbing. I'm so sorry if you can't handle horror. I'm so sorry. But isn't that messed up? I might bump this up. But they sent the other one first, so who knows? Who knows? Those are the main ones. I'm kind of sad a little bit. I've heard I just got this one maybe like last week. And Alchemized by Shen Lin Yu. I heard that people didn't really like it as much, or people that I follow that has similar reading tastes like me didn't really like it as much. I'm kind of scared. But at the same time, based on my reading taste and things that I consider like 4 or 5 stars or things that I enjoy is not what feels like not the majority of people also enjoy. So I may or may not like this book. Who knows? That's why I don't really read too many reviews when it comes to, not even too many. I don't really read reviews in general about a book that I'm personally excited for. So I don't really like judge the book too harshly as I'm reading it. This one was also one, but I don't think I'll get to it this year, The Helm of Midnight. I heard the second one was okay, but at the same time, like when I hear stuff like that, I try not to look any more deeper into it because I am full supporter that you need to read it yourself to fully know if it's good or not. But at the same time, if you're trying to save time and prioritize the books that you want to read, it's good to look at reviews every once in a while. In terms of like, oh, maybe you won't read this as fast. I mean, I'm a trillion times guilty of having my favorite content creators or book content creators when they say they enjoyed a book and I so happen to own that book too. I hella bump it up on my TBR. So I am very guilty of that as well. And if they say a book that, again, someone that I follow that we have similar tastes said they didn't enjoy, I may move it down my TBR. I'm very guilty, but I still would give it the try to read for myself and see if I like it or not. That was my new tiny bookshelf dedicated to scary horror. I don't think I have thrillers. I'm not a huge thriller. I do own them, but I didn't put them on the shelf because I know I'm going to read them whenever I want to. They're not prioritized like this batch. Yeah, pretty good. I'll like briefly talk about the books in the corner because you're probably staring at them because I'm staring at them too. I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll talk about them a little bit. The only note I will say is that I started reading Paladin's Grace by T. Kingfisher, and it's very heavy on the romance. I told you guys I'm not really much of a romance reader, but when I read that, I mainly read it because of a mini book club that one of my gaming YouTubers I follow was starting due to an earned reward, a community reward for fundraising. And I did read that book. It was what the community wanted. And so I was like, okay, I'm one of those where if I'm gonna get the first one, I'm gonna get all of them. Especially this is a reprint edition. So I love the covers for this, but I'm taking a huge chance on a book that is not only romance, but it's fantasy romance. And that is a huge, like, I tried to dodge those. Try to dodge those because I know I'm not going to enjoy it, so I'm going to read something I'm not going to enjoy. But damn, did it prove me wrong. And this is like the fun part about trying all sorts of books in a very specific genre, because they're not all written the same. And I'm enjoying the hell out of Paladin's Grace. But unfortunately with the timing and stuff, when I read it, I couldn't finish it. And so I kind of softly DNF because I want to focus more time on that book. But I enjoy the humor, even though it's kind of modern considering the medieval setting. I'm not sure if it's medieval, but considering like the setting that that book is in, I'm enjoying the banter. I'm enjoying the humor. That's how I talk to people. Not really, not 1,000%, but like, it's freaking cute. And once again, it's showing like, oh, this is why y'all are huge romance readers, huh? Because you like this feeling, huh? You enjoy this feeling. I kind of enjoy it, but I did soft DNF'd it for now until I come back to it. And I'm kind of happy that I got the rest of the books in the series, because if this is the writing, and I think this is also my first T. Kingfisher book, if this is her writing style and this is how she portrays certain characters, I'm enjoying it so far. Who knows? I'm not 50% in it. I think I might be 40% deep into that book, but it reads really quickly for me, so who knows when I'll come back to that book. The second half of this year so far has been a very big year in terms of me DNFing a lot of books that are actually really good, but I just couldn't focus at the time during all the events that are happening in my life. And so to do it justice without ruining it during my reading experience, I had to DNF it and then probably restart the whole book when I come back to it. Because yeah, sometimes when a book is so good but you realize you don't have time to read it, sometimes it's best not to push through, from my experience, so you don't ruin it for yourself. I don't know. Definitely if you were enjoying the first half. But yeah, I forgot to mention that these books here are all the books that are unread on this shelf. So I actually have more dystopian books, but I've already read them. So that's why I didn't include it on this shelf. I wanted this more of like, yeah, a TBR shelf, which is huge. I know, intimidating, I know, but looking at it makes me very happy. Not so much stressed, but just happy that I have them, happy that I can touch them. And happy to remind myself I have like a little bookstore in my house, essentially, or in my room. And so whenever I feel the urge to buy a book, I just have to look at these unread books, hold them, and then I no longer feel the urge to shop. Works for me. I don't know about you. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was more of a catch up with me and the books I have and the books I'm thinking about reading. Sorry, I'm not really doing TBR anymore based on like my reading style lately. I've just been reading whatever I want and whatever the books my friends recommend that I want to read along with, that a TBR per month no longer works for me. And so far I've been enjoying just like, I feel like this today, let's do it, you know? Yeah, feel free to follow, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time when we wrap up, whatever that is. I swear I'm reading, I'm just not talking about them. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.